Boat 628, a Tony Neal tale, part 7 of 42, 8:17 a.m. The excitement Patrick felt every time he let a boatload of guests out on the Chattooga was accentuated by the upcoming thrill ride 8 hours of non-stop hard rain promised lay ahead. Knowing that for 8 hours rain had been tumbling steadily down fueled his excitement to the point that even the mundane muscle work of helping load half a dozen inflatable rafts and 5 kayaks on the NOC's repurposed school bus brought him joy. Though he'd finished his first year basic raft guide training months before John, Tony, and Gene had made their first trip down the Chattooga the summer before, he'd still been in training when they met. Being in training put Patrick in a sort of nowhere land guide position where he performed the majority of piloting for the adventures he led, but was still under direct supervision of a senior guide as they piloted the boat on journey after journey under extremely variable water levels and therefore extremely variable danger and excitement levels. Tony and Gene had been assigned to the boat he'd captained, a boat that was also under the direct supervision of teammate Vic. Vic's style of supervision was as hands off as Vic thought safe, and the big muscle man allowed, no, insisted, that Patrick do the vast majority of piloting. But when times and conditions dictated that Vic assume control of the boat in order to ensure the safety of all on board, he did so, unapologetically and immediately. On their first trip with Patrick, John admitted that this was his first whitewater rafting trip, while Tony and Gene had shared that their initiation to whitewater had been with the NOC on the French Broad River in Asheville, North Carolina, way back in 1986 when they were on their honeymoon, and that in the intervening years they'd rafted half a dozen times in locales as far west as the Gallatin River in Montana, the Colorado and Arizona, a handful of eastern U.S. rivers, and had taken a week-long introduction to kayaking course at the main NOC location. They'd wound up at the Chattooga by chance, but had returned early that summer and requested Patrick as their guide, and now were back for their third rafting experience under his command, a fact that, especially when combined with his cousin Frank and Frank's bride Laurie being on his boat, filled Pat with pride and joy. This would be a ride to remember.